I still remember the way her hands trembled when she said it, the kind of shaking that comes when the soul itself is unraveling. We were sitting across from each other at the kitchen table, the same spot where we'd once planned our wedding, laughed over burned pancakes, and talked about baby names for someday. That morning, someday came, just not the way I ever imagined. "Ethan," she whispered, her voice cracking, "I'm pregnant." For a second my chest swelled with something like joy. My throat tightened, eyes stung. I'd been waiting for those words for months. We'd been trying for a year, and every negative test had crushed us a little more. But then she didn't smile. She didn't reach across the table. She didn't cry happy tears. Instead, she looked down at her lap and said the words that sliced through me like glass. "But I don't know if it's yours." The room went quiet, so quiet that I could hear the hum of the refrigerator and the faint ticking of the wall clock behind her. My mind froze. I didn't even breathe for a moment. What do you mean?" I finally managed. Her eyes lifted, red and swollen. I messed up, Ethan. A few months ago. I was drunk and I slept with someone. "Someone," she said. Like it was just a mistake. A misplaced pen or a forgotten appointment. "Who?" My voice came out sharp, cold. I didn't recognize it. She swallowed. "A coworker. From the marketing team. His name's Ryan." Ryan. I'd met him once at a company dinner, tall, charming, the kind of guy who always finds a way to make you feel smaller in your own skin. I remembered how she laughed at his jokes that night. How her hand brushed his arm. I'd brushed it off then. I trusted her. Now every memory of that night twisted like a knife in my gut. The next few seconds felt like an eternity. I couldn't even look at her. I got up, walked to the window and stared out at the empty street. I wanted to scream, punch something, break the silence that was choking me. But all I could do was whisper, "Why?" Her voice cracked. "You were so distant then. You were working late every night." I felt alone. It wasn't supposed to happen. It was one night, Ethan. One stupid night. I turned around slowly. "And that one night might have made you pregnant." She covered her face and sobbed. "I'm so sorry. I don't even know how to live with myself." I wanted to comfort her, because that's what 7 years of loving someone does to you. But the betrayal sat like a burning coal in my chest. Instead, I sat back down and asked, "When did you find out?" 2 days ago, she said. I wanted to tell you right away, but I was terrified. I nodded slowly, trying to keep my composure. "Terrified of losing me?" She looked up. "Terrified of seeing that look in your eyes." For days I couldn't sleep. Every sound in the house felt amplified. The creak of the floorboards, the hum of the heater, her muffled crying from the bedroom. I slept on the couch. I'd scroll through our old photos at night. Our honeymoon in Santorini, her in that yellow dress at the beach, the anniversary dinners. I'd zoom in on her smile, trying to figure out when it stopped being real. Friends always said we were the perfect couple. I used to believe that too. But perfection hides things like cracks beneath fresh paint. A week later, she handed me a folded piece of paper. "I booked a paternity test. We can do it as soon as possible." Her hands were shaking again. I stared at the paper. My voice came out flat. "And if it's not mine?" Her lip trembled. "Then, I'll do whatever you want. Leave, move out, whatever it takes. But I just need you to know, this baby wasn't planned, and I swear to God, I regret that night more than anything." I wanted to believe her. I really did. But belief is fragile when it's been shattered once. The next 2 weeks were torture. Waiting for the test, pretending to function, showing up to work like I wasn't falling apart inside. Every time I looked at her, I saw both the woman I loved and the stranger who'd broken me. She tried to act normal. Making dinner, asking about my day, sending small texts like "I miss you." But her voice always carried guilt. One night, I came home to find her sitting on the living room floor surrounded by baby magazines. She looked up and smiled weakly. I just needed to feel hopeful, even for a little while. I didn't have the heart to tell her that all I felt was fear. When the test results finally came in, I couldn't open the email. She stood beside me, hands clasped, breathing uneven. "Do you want me to?" she started. "No," I said quietly. "I'll do it." I clicked the link. My heart pounded so hard I could hear it. The words blurred for a second before they came into focus. Probability of paternity, 99.8%. It was mine. I exhaled sharply and leaned back, my chest heaving. Relief and pain hit at the same time, like being pulled underwater and thrown into the sun in one breath. She gasped, covering her mouth. "It's yours." I nodded. She burst into tears, rushing forward to hug me, but I stepped back. Her face crumbled. "Ethan, it's my child," I said quietly. "But that doesn't erase what you did. We tried to make it work after that. Couples therapy, honest talks, late-night tears. She promised to rebuild my trust one day at a time. And for a while I wanted to believe her. I needed to. When she held my hand during the first ultrasound, I felt a flicker of something, hope maybe, or denial. But healing isn't linear. Some nights I'd wake up and stare at her sleeping beside me, wondering if she dreamed about him. The counselor said, "Forgiveness is a choice you have to keep making, even when it hurts." But how do you forgive someone who turned your love story into a scar? It was the baby shower that broke me. Her co-workers came over, including him, Ryan. He walked in smiling, carrying a gift bag. My jaw clenched. He avoided my eyes, but I could feel the tension thick in the room. Halfway through the evening, I caught him and Claire standing too close in the kitchen, whispering. Something inside me snapped. I walked in. "Enjoying the party?" Ryan froze. Claire turned pale. "Ethan, it's not," she started. "Save it," I said coldly. "You shouldn't have invited him. He's part of my team. And I'm your husband." The guests turned their heads as I walked out. I heard her footsteps behind me, calling my name. Outside, under the porch light, she grabbed my arm. "Please don't make a scene." I turned to her, my voice low and shaking. "You already made one the night you betrayed me." She flinched, tears filling her eyes. "I thought I could move past it," I said. "I really did. But seeing him here, smiling like nothing happened, it's killing me." Her lips trembled. "Ethan, I swear there's nothing between us anymore." "Then why do I still feel like I'm competing with a ghost?" She broke down then, sobbing, clutching her belly. "I love you. I've only ever wanted you. Please don't give up on us." I wanted to say I wouldn't, but the words wouldn't come. That night I packed a bag. She begged me not to go. "You're the only person I need," she said through tears. I looked at her, really looked. The woman I'd built a life with, now carrying my child, but also the woman who destroyed the foundation it stood on. I said quietly, "You needed me before you went to him too." She crumbled to the floor, sobbing uncontrollably. I stood there, hands shaking, heart torn in two. Finally I said, "I'll be there for the baby. Always. But I can't stay here, not like this." Her voice broke. "Ethan, please don't do this." "I didn't do this," I whispered. "You did." Then I walked out. It's been 6 months since that night. I rent a small apartment downtown now. The walls are bare, the bed half empty, but at least I can breathe. She sends me updates, photos of her belly growing, ultrasound images, messages like "he kicked today." Sometimes I reply. Sometimes I don't. "I'll be there when my son is born. I'll hold him, name him, love him." But his mother. I don't know if I'll ever be able to look at her without remembering the day she said she didn't know if he was mine. People think betrayal is about the act itself, sex, lies, secrets. It's not. It's about the silence that follows. The nights you spend wondering why you weren't enough. The way love starts to feel like a wound that refuses to close. Claire and I built something once. And maybe part of me will always love her for that. But love can't live where trust has died. When she called me last night, crying again, saying she still loved me, I finally said the words I'd been holding in for months. "Claire, I'll always care about you. But the man you cheated on doesn't exist anymore." She went silent. Then I heard her sob. And as I hung up, for the first time in a long while, I didn't cry. Because sometimes walking away isn't the end of love. It's the beginning of healing.